Welcome to Business Etiquette and Manners. I'm Sybil Davis at the Culinary Institute of the Carolinas at Greenville Technical College. We're going to start out this session by talking about first impressions. First impressions are so important, and we must remember that we do not get a second chance at making good first impressions. When other people are making first impressions about us, they only have one thing to go by. That one thing is how we look. Now, that may not be fair, but it is a proven fact. And since we do know that, then we know that we can do something about that. And mainly that requires planning ahead, making sure that we know what's coming up, what meetings are coming up, what we have on our agenda every day, and how we need to look for those different occasions. Making sure that we know what we're going to wear. And that if we pull those clothes out of the closet, we want to make sure there are no spots there, no wrinkles, no missing buttons, because if we do that at the last minute, then we're all frustrated, we might arrive late, and then we're all hurried and frustrated to attend that meeting or that function. So it does require that planning ahead. There are some things that are not appropriate to wear in the business world. For the ladies, let's say blouses that are too low cut, skirts that are too short. And if you put those items on and you have to wonder, I wonder if my blouse is too low or if my skirt is too short. Well, if you did have to wonder about it, if you had to think twice about it, more than likely that blouse is too low and that skirt is too short. Another thing that we want to be aware of is how our shoes look. Don't forget to look down before you go out the door. Are the shoes clean? Are the heels worn on one side? Do they look good with the other clothing items that you're wearing? Are they appropriate for business? Something that is not appropriate along the line of shoes for business would be flip-flops. And I know there's some beautiful ones out there today, but they're not appropriate in the business arena. Neither are any kind of tank tops. Those are not appropriate as well. Again, we don't get a second chance at making a good first impression. Now I would like to talk with you about proper handshakes in the business arena. First of all, remember you always want to rise to the occasion if someone is approaching you and you are going to shake their hand. And to shake hands properly in the business arena, you want to extend your right hand. And I want you to notice that we all have a web in our hands, just like a duck has a web. A proper handshake is my web to your web, all the way in, web to web. A couple of strong pumps from the elbow, looking at the other person right in the eye. In our culture, we expect good eye contact. Now, if you're going to do business with other people from other cultures, you need to research those cultures according to what they expect as far as eye contact. But in our culture, we expect it. So look the other person right in the eye when you're shaking their hand. Now, there is a little way to cheat when it comes to eye contact, because I've had people tell me before in certain trainings, well, I'm just not comfortable looking other people right in the eye because I find myself looking at one eye, then the other eye, then the other eye. Well, if that's a little issue for you, here is what you can do to remedy that. There's a little invisible triangle right here. You can look right here and the person will never know it. Now, that can be a little tricky. You don't want to look too far up here because the other person will wonder what is going on up there. But right here will work nicely. Now back to those handshakes. Right hand to right hand and a couple of strong pumps we mentioned. You don't need to go on and on with that handshake, but pumping from the elbow. Now, a handshake that would not be appropriate in the business arena. That would be the little weak fingertip handshake. In the business world, we are truly judged by our handshakes. And if we have a good, strong, firm handshake, we can be judged as a strong person. If it's a little weak fingertip handshake, then we can be judged as a weak person, whether or not that is the case. That little weak fingertip handshake has a name, and it's called the fingerella. So we don't want to be guilty of using a fingerella handshake. Now I want to share some information with you about name tags. And this goes right along with handshakes. If you're required to wear a name tag, maybe you're attending certain functions and you are required to wear that name tag should be worn on the right hand shoulder area. And that's for a reason. If you are shaking someone's hand, you're introducing yourself to them. Your direct line of eye contact is to the right hand side of that person. And you can glance and see that person's name immediately, and you can say their name. And that's very cool to be able to go ahead and say the person's name right away. Now, it wouldn't be a crime if you had it on your left-hand shoulder area, but it's more appropriate to be on the right-hand shoulder area, and it makes it easier for someone to go ahead and see who we are and the company that we represent. So I hope that you've learned a little bit about proper handshakes and that you will not be guilty of using the fingerella. I want to also share some information with you about business cards. Our business card represents us. It represents our organization. And those cards need to be treated with respect. They need to be kept in a nice little card holder. And that's for a reason. If you stuff them in your pocket or your purse, they're going to get frayed. They're going to get ragged on the edges. And again, I said they represent us. So later on, when someone pulls that card out to look at it, they see your name on it. They see your company name on it or your organization name on it. And if it's frayed and if it's ragged, that might be how they remember you. So keep it in a nice card. Keep it neat. How we present those cards is important in the business world too. You want to present your card to other people with both hands. The thumb's right on the top, not covering up any of the writing, but present it with both hands to the other person. And if you are accepting someone else's card, accept the card with both hands. And as you look at it, don't put it away right away. Don't stuff it in a pocket or a purse or in your own card holder right away. Again, it needs to be treated with respect. So look it over. Read what is on it. And if you're seated at a table when that card is given to you, don't put it away right then. Put it on the table. Leave it in front of you on the table. So maybe it's a meeting. You've got the card there. You can remember the person's name. You can remember, by looking at the card, the company they represent. Now I want to move on and talk briefly about cell phones. We all have them today. They're important. We can't live without them, but there are a few rules that we need to follow. If you're in a restaurant or in a theater or in a business meeting, you need to turn your cell phone off or put it on vibrate. And don't be caught texting in a meeting. Don't be caught trying to make a call or accept a call in a meeting. Also, don't be guilty of something called cell yell. A lot of people think that they have to talk louder into their cell phones, and you don't. You need to speak softly, and you need to keep those conversations brief. Wi-Fi etiquette. A lot of us are using the Wi-Fi services in bookstores, coffee shops, and that's great that we have those services offered to us, but we don't want to abuse that service. So if you are going to use a table and your laptop in a coffee shop, don't take up a large table, say for 4 if it's just you, unless you're going to share that table with other people. And don't be guilty of staying there 3 and 4 hours at a time using those services. And remember, make a purchase every now and then when you're using those services. And that doesn't mean just buying 1 cup of coffee and nursing that 1 cup of coffee for 3 or 4 hours. It would mean several little purchases as you are using the Wi-Fi services there. Elevator etiquette. You know, I don't know about you, but I'm a little bit uncomfortable in an elevator when someone enters the elevator and they will not turn around and face the door. So they're standing there facing me. Now, in the business arena, we expect in this culture good eye contact, but in an elevator, eye contact is not appropriate. We need to turn around and face that door. And if you are the one closest to the door, then exit the elevator first, too, so the other people can get out when they need to, when the elevator reaches the proper floor. I do hope that some of these tips are going to be helpful to you throughout your career. I hope that some of these tips are going to help you to make really good first impressions and really good lasting impressions. I wish you much success. Thank you very much.